Have you ever contemplated the silent architects of your anxieties? Not the grand, undeniable terrors that sweep through societies, but the insidious, almost imperceptible dread that blossoms from what might be rather than what is. We often stand at the precipice of change, paralyzed not by its current form, but by the phantom progeny it could bear, the hypothetical echoes of its presence amplified by a collective, growing unease. What compels us to invent specters of future suffering, to sacrifice present peace for battles that exist only within the echoing chambers of our own fearful projections? Is it a primal instinct for self-preservation, or a subtle, self-sabotaging flaw in the very fabric of our foresight, binding us to imagine chains? In the heart of the shifting sands, where the dunes whispered secrets to the relentless wind, stood the great loom. For eons, this colossal, intricate machine had woven the very fabric of time for the desert's inhabitants, the ephemeral Dust Motes. Each thread spun from the loom dictated the passage of day into night, the cycle of meager rains, and the rhythm of their brief, shimmering lives. The loom, in its ageless wisdom, was singular, its rhythmic hum a constant, reassuring presence. Its energy, a radiant, shimmering essence, ensured the desert's delicate balance, even as it sometimes intensified the heat during the longest days, causing some fragile motes to fade a little faster. Now, a tremor passed through the loom. It pulsed with a new, unfamiliar intensity, a deep, resonant thrum that spoke of an impending transformation. The ancient loom had decided to replicate, to birth a spool of succession, a smaller, complementary loom that would share its immense burden and, in time, perhaps even amplify its work, ensuring a more resilient future for the shifting sands. The Grand Weaver, a benevolent, silent entity, communicated this change through subtle shifts in the desert's aura. Yet, the Dust Motes, a myriad of sentient, light-infused beings, reacted not with anticipation, but with a sudden, overwhelming wave of short-temperedness. Their inherent irascibility, usually tempered by the loom's steady influence, flared into a collective panic. "One loom is challenge enough," buzzed the elder motes, their light dimming with agitation. "Its heat already saps our strength, forces us to seek shade, and occasionally extinguishes the weakest among us. What nightmare will unfold if there are two? Two sources of this intense energy, two machines to dry our fleeting moisture, to hasten our dispersal. Imagine the heat. Imagine the accelerated cycles. We will be nothing but forgotten dust before our time." Their responsibility to the desert's long-term health was utterly overshadowed by their immediate, emotional reaction. A young mote, named Lamina, tried to reason. "But, elders, the Grand Weaver has always ensured our survival. Perhaps two looms mean greater stability, more predictable cycles, or even new patterns of growth. Our fading is part of the cycle, regardless." Her voice was a soft, reasoned hum, a stark contrast to the escalating cacophony. "Silence, fledgling," shrieked a particularly agitated elder, its light flickering erratically. "You speak of what could be, while we foresee what will be, a scorching, twin-powered apocalypse." The motes, consumed by their vivid, fearful imaginings, started to actively disrupt the loom's delicate mechanisms, throwing grains of sand into its gears, hoping to halt the birth of the spool of succession. Their short-sighted, furious intervention, driven by projected fears, slowly began to unravel the very stability they believed they were protecting. The constant hum of the great loom faltered, not from its own evolution, but from the mote's frantic, self-destructive interference, proving that often, the imagined disaster is less destructive than the fear it inspires. This narrative mirrors a profound human tendency to react to the unknown not with curiosity or cautious optimism, but with a fierce, often short-tempered resistance born of projected anxieties. We often allow the specter of hypothetical future problems to overshadow tangible present benefits, or even to actively undermine progress. The mote's irrational fear of two suns prevented them from considering the potential for enhanced stability or new opportunities that the spool of succession might bring. This speaks to our own struggles with innovation, societal shifts, or personal growth, where the fear of an imagined, amplified negative outcome leads us to reject necessary evolution, sometimes sabotaging our own future out of a misguided sense of self-preservation. It is a cautionary tale about the perils of allowing our short-tempered interpretations of responsibility to blind us to the wisdom of patient observation and trust in natural processes. the Loom of Whispers reminds us that true foresight lies not in fearing every shadow a future might cast, but in discerning which shadows are real, and which are merely the agitated projections of an inner tempest. Filiarium, illuminating the whispers within.